Hi guys, this is Masharia Moore. Today we're going to be talking about how to properly shampoo the hair. And this was a method that one of my favorite stylists taught me maybe like a year or two ago on just how to wash the hair without having to spend a half an hour in the bathroom trying to, put a comb through your hair. So before we actually talk about that, I wanted to talk just, very briefly about some do's and don'ts on shampooing the hair. The first thing is that you always want to follow this rule of thumb. You shampoo your scalp and your roots, and you condition your hair and your ends. So, don't really try to focus on trying to get, your hair clean because as you're washing your scalp and your roots, the product will slide down the hair shaft and kind of grab product and dirt and debris and stuff like that on its way out. So it's shampoo is a very, very strong product. So don't think of it as lotion in the sense that you have to kind of work it in your skin for it to be absorbed. Shampoo is, again, very strong, and as it, slides down the hair shaft, it will grab things. Sorry, there's construction going on next door. It's been going on for like a week, so just bear with me if you hear some hammering going on. In any event, in addition to avoiding, really concentrating product on your hair and your ends, you also want to avoid, taking a comb and lifting up any kind of skin or dandruff or things like that. If your hair is flaking or if it's irritated, that's a deeper problem that you really want to work on, with shampoos and hot oil treatments and things like that. So by just, lifting up dead skin, it's only going to do the equivalent of, lifting a scab off a wound. I mean, it's dead skin and it's dandruff for a reason. So ove trying to, lift it up with a comb. Lastly, you definitely do not want to pile all of the hair on top of your head and try, scrub your scalp and things like that. That's something we see in commercials, but that doesn't really work for our hair. It just gives us a lot of tangles. So try to have a very organized approach in shampooing your hair. I like to do sort of, the sides, massaging the product in with through the sides, and then front and the back. And you'll be surprised that gets your hair just as clean, and when you rinse, you don't have a lot of tangles. So again, work it through the sides and then from front to back. And you should use a good amount of product, but not more, probably a little bit, maybe like a silver dollar size amount of product. And along those lines, you really want to make sure that you avoid sort of scrubbing your scalp with your fingernails, because that really just damages your scalp and damages your hair. So try to use kind of like the balls of your fingertips and really try to work it into your scalp, but don't, scrub it, and even though it feels good, just, try to avoid doing that. All right, so I guess I would call it maybe like a 5-step process. The first one is that you really want to take a second, just file down your nails, because jagged nails can really, again, damage your scalp and can actually pull out hair and break hair. That's definitely happened to me where I've, taken my fingers out of my hair and I see, a strand that's been broken from a jagged nail. So take a second, file down your nails. The second step is to grab your wide tooth comb and, starting from the bottom, just very gently kind of detangle your hair, going all the way up into the roots. And this will help prevent you from walking into the shower with tangles already, which will only make the problem worse. So again, take a second, just detangle your hair. Now the third step is that you want to get under the shower head and just rinse your hair for about maybe like 2 to 3 or 4 minutes. And that will just help wet the hair, wet the scalp, and really allow the shampoo to work more effectively. The fourth step is to do your first lather. And your first lather isn't really, intended to be a vigorous lather. You just want to apply the product to the scalp and the roots, work it through, and then rinse out. You're not trying to create this big mound of foam. You just want to try to, loosen up any kind of dirt or product residue. So you want to rinse very thoroughly and then apply your second shampooing. So just, again, use maybe like a little bit less than a silver dollar, and again, work it through your on the sides and then in the front and the back, and that will produce a nice lather that will coat the hair and should, give a nice coating on the hair. You don't want, again, a big mound of foam. After you do that, you're just going to rinse very thoroughly. So after you rinse, now one of the natural tendencies is to kind of flip your hair over and scrub your hair and try to get all the water out, but you really want to be very, very gentle, because when your hair is wet, it's at its most weakest state. So try to avoid kind of, tugging at it or twisting it or doing things like that. You just want to very gently put the towel over your head and kind of squeeze the excess moisture from your hair, kind of like blotting. And just, very gently give it a nice squeeze. After you do that, you are ready to deep condition, which is another very, very, very important part of repairing damaged hair. So that will be our next chapter, and I will have that ready for you tomorrow. Thanks.